BlissFULLheart, and I am here to give you your energy reading for June 13th to June 20th, 2019. This week includes a full moon in Sagittarius on Monday, June 17th, and it is the last full moon before we go back into eclipse season. And we're looking at a lot of polarity in this full moon, like not necessarily feeling confronted by opposites, but actually trying to find that center, that healthy balance between black and white, masculine and feminine, love and hate, really kind of balancing out, pain and joy, those sorts of things. So it's not only like a fiery energy that's very passionate and expressive, but it's also a dreamy one that's like encouraging a lot of like peace and compassion. So there's like this purpose-driven energy coming through, as well as like a cosmic divine guidance energy. And because this is going to be the first eclipse that we see in July is in Capricorn, we're looking at kind of completing full circle what was initiated in the eclipse in January, which was in Capricorn. So I think we're going to be getting a lot of messages from the divine here on balancing these opposites and the energy that's going to be moving through in terms of how it's going to be confronting us. I am planning on doing a pick a card to balance divine masculine, divine feminine. That'll probably come out on Saturday, I guess. And I want to just let you know that if you are interested in those twin flame guidance readings, I do have monthly overviews that I release once a month or once every 4 weeks on my Patreon page. You can check that out in the description box below. For $1 a month, you get a 4-week timeline overview of the twin flame journey, and that is definitely catered towards twins that are not in union. So let's go ahead and get into this, shall we? I obviously have already drawn the cards and had a moment with them. And this first card is the overall energy that we're looking at for this week. And so it is the first time I've pulled a master teacher card. This is an awakening crystal of emotional healing. I mean, the energy of this card is so magnificent and intense. This is all about healing emotional trauma, okay? And so this is the overriding energy that's coming through. For the week, obviously, is balanced around the energy of the full moon, because as we know, the energy of the full moon comes before it for 3 days and then after it for 3 days. So it doesn't just happen in one day, right? So this is really for the energy of the week. And this is a clear, smoky quartz, okay? I'm trying to keep it like not move. I'm just gonna go ahead and set it down. So it is one of the most powerful crystals on the planet, all right? And it assists in healing and transforming our emotional pain body, and it's like on a massive scale. So it's like for the entire collective consciousness. It teaches us how to love and accept our shadow self and transform grief and fear and trauma, and also heal any kind of addictions that you may be dealing with. So I just thought this was so incredibly beautiful, because I really feel like we're kind of tying up loose ends this week, and there's this amazing opportunity. We're being assisted by the divine to really heal and open up into these places that are feeling trauma or feeling hurt or feeling grief. A lot of forgiveness energy is coming through. So we're going to look at the first part of the week here. I have the Akashic Tarot and the Keepers of the Light Oracle by Kyle Gray. So for this first part of the week, we have the Four of Roses, Views of the Ego. Look at him standing and staring in the mirror there. And then we have the Holy Spirit, expect miracles. I just love this, right? It really comes together with this idea of emotional healing in terms of like remembering who we are. So this card speaks of a few things. This Four of Roses, views of the ego. Primarily, in terms of the guidebook for this card, it is talking about there being a toxic, selfish person in your life that takes more than they give and kind of just uses you to make their life better. So, what is cliche? The cliche is an energy vampire. So this could be a friend or a family or a partner. It could be somebody you work with. And, I'm definitely feeling this idea of being taken advantage of. And we see this a lot in the twin flame community in particular, but really it's seen a lot with anybody that is an intuit and is, very sensitive and empathic, where they're constantly in this space of thinking that they're helping people, that they're improving people's lives, and we are like so grateful for like the tiniest thing, like a thank you is all we need, right? And and then we put that on a pedestal, like it's a beautiful thing because we're not materialistic and we're so generous and kind and good, and it's such good karma, right? But really that's an unhealthy behavior, and this is something that I talk about over and over again on my channel, is that we really need to look at where our balance is in terms of time and energy expended to others, and then time and energy that we give to ourselves. I currently am working on a ton of abundance blocks right now, and I am planning on recording some videos on my process through that, because I'm having some major breakthroughs in terms of my experience with money in particular. So I think that money or abundance could be translated not only in terms of money, but in terms of the energy of giving and receiving, right? Abundance is not necessarily in dollars. It can be in opportunities, it could be in joy, it could be in friendships, so this other thing that I was feeling from this on a secondary message was that it's not necessarily somebody outside of you, but it's this confrontation of your egoic self, okay? Because we are talking about this duality, this polarity of self. So I am also seeing, my secondary message that I got from this card was that this is like your, empathic, I'm so good and kind self. And then this is your, you don't give a shit about yourself self. This is like our judgmental self. So we have our like spiritually conscious and more egoic, right? So like there's that pride energy that's being confronted, where the self that's in the 3D world, your spiritually divine consciousness self, is feeling very shameful about desires to want more, or to want to end toxic relationships, or I'm just feeling this conflict and judgment of self coming through. Okay, so that was the secondary message I got on that card. And then we have Kyle Gray coming in with the Holy Spirit, expect miracles. Remember that only love is real. Miracles will occur naturally. Spirit has your back. The thing I love about this is it's really about this idea of that when we tap into our divine guidance system, and when we really allow ourselves to remember who we are, that we're able to forgive, right? And so this works on both interpretations of this Four of Roses. It works in terms of us realizing that, the people that may be taken advantage of, and that maybe we're finally figuring out and we're pissed about it, like it gives us this opportunity to exercise forgiveness and be understanding that everybody has their own journey to take, and that if you can expect miracles in terms of having the strength to say, I don't want to be friends with you anymore, or we can't talk right now. I just said that to somebody in a text last night, like I just need some space away from you. I can't talk to you for a little while, and so that was like I mean, and that's, I think, the easiest step to make, especially for empaths, is like, it's just for now, right? So that way you're not feeling like you're saying, no, I never want to talk to you again. You're like still coming in from this space of like a little bit of peace, a little bit of love, and you're just saying, I need a little space. And so that gives you an opportunity to be like, is this valid? You know, am I actually mad because this person is toxic? Or am I mad because of my own crap, right? And usually it's both things, because we're all mirrors to each other on this planet. But I'm seeing not only like divine guidance coming in to help us release these things, and you know, so that same message can be applied in terms of balancing out our egoic self with our spiritual self. You know, come in, call, allow, you know, the angels of truth, love, and light to come in and help you. And remember that love is all, the only thing that's real, and that you have to love yourself first, right? So there's, you know, just a lot of divine guidance. We've got that emotional healing card again. So this is the overview, right? And you're going to see this emotional healing kind of echoed in as we move through the week. So I'll move these over. We're looking at the middle part of the week, which is approximately the 15th, 16th, right before that full moon. And we have the Six of Scrolls, Sands of Time, and Mercury, open communication. You know, to me, I just see this as throat chakra all day. I'm going to get more into that in a second. So let's first take a look at the Sands of Time. So this is this idea of feeling a sense of urgency that time is running out and it's time to change. And it is because there is this opportunity, this energetic portal happening in terms of all this emotional healing coming through. And so, you know, Spirit is kind of pushing you to be like, confronting those relationships that need to be released, confronting your dark aspects of self, looking at your fear, looking at your pain, looking at your trauma, and allowing yourself to be healed, really opening yourself up to that instead of shaming it or pushing it away or burying it, right? So there is this sense of urgency, and you are being encouraged to open up. You know, there is like this time to get to work is like that other message happening here. And, you know, work being working on yourself, right? Improving yourself. And so here comes, you know, Mercury, like communicate, right? It says, get a weight off of your chest, speak up with love, and be heard. So, you know, I love bringing in the interpretation of the throat chakra because it's not only about like communicating with words out of our mouth, right? Communication can happen through writing, journaling, singing, ahming. You know, communication can be like meditation with spirit or your higher self. And it is a connection to our truth. And the truth is, you know, it's divine. It's a gift from God, and knowing our truth, knowing who we are, knowing what we believe in, and forgiving ourselves for our faults, and accepting who we are, and trusting in the divine. And that's like a tertiary message of the throat chakra, which I feel like should be primary. But when we know who we are, we trust in the divine because we have faith that we know who we are, and it's not a mistake. And we give ourselves permission to change our minds later, but accepting who we are now and loving ourselves who we are now. So I just love this, you know, this idea of communication. And yeah, the pressure's on. Communicate. It's time to release. Again, this could be a communication with more than one person. You know, this could be work, sexual, family, friends, or your egoic self, right? But it's time to look in there, open it up, and peel back the layers and allow that healing to come in, you know, expect miracles, okay? Yogi Bhajan says, I don't expect miracles, I rely on them. I love that. Okay, so at the tail end of the week, this is approximately the day of the full moon, and then continuing through to Wednesday, the 20th, we have One of Roses, commitment. There's a contract there surrounded by a petal of roses, right? And it is a very optimistic reading. And then the secondary card is Radhe, Soul Flame. This is Krishna's lady. She is also known as Shakti, the divine feminine energy of creativity and compassion and healing, emotional healing, you know. So when we break down this commitment, there's, again, this one has kind of like a couple of interpretations. One being very specific, like this could be a contract for, you know, buying a house, buying a car, signing a lease, you know. It could be literally contractual. It could also be like a marriage contract, right? So this does have, you know, a hint of union or partnership, because Rade is here too. So because I consider Rade, you know, a twin flame, obviously, this definitely has this, and it is about healing relationships. I do feel like for some of you, this is definitely a message of union or getting back together, which would be right on point actually with the 6-month timeline overview I did for the twin flames in January. I did a twin flame reading for 6 months, and it was very optimistic and spoke a lot about many twins coming into union by June. So, I mean, I do feel that that is absolutely a message here. However, keeping it in touch with everything else that's going on here, I'm feeling like these are some renewed contracts or commitments, I should say, with yourself, with your direction, committing to staying out of toxic relationships, committing to finding that harmony and balance and loving all of you, committing to being consistent in your spiritual practice, committing to rediscovering a lost part of yourself, to experience a new sense of harmony with yourself, with your divine guidance system, you know, with God. You know, I feel like that is probably the most general message. And this definitely caters to everybody. So, I mean, that general message obviously is like suggesting that union is a part of that message too, because coming into union means that you have, you know, healed those parts of yourself. Like, you cannot come into union until you have healed and come into harmony with who you are. That does not mean you're perfect, and it certainly doesn't mean that your twin is perfect, but it does mean that you are comfortable with your imperfections and you accept that it is a part of your life. And part of our journey is constantly like healing and repairing, and then enjoying the work and the efforts of that energy of putting that out there and allowing ourselves to be healed. And then more stuff will come up, and you know, it's a constant thing, and we can never get lazy about it. You can't slack off. It's just, it's part of our life. It's part of living an awakened, conscious, happy, joyful life. Yes, yes. So for our final overall guidance message, I know these are I just try and keep them all on the table for you guys here. So for our final guidance message, I pulled from the Spirit Animal Oracle by Colette Baron Reed, and we got card 49, Rabbit Spirit. Now is a lucky time. I love that. I actually wanted to look at the guidebook because she says such inspirational messages. So let's see. It's hard with my tripod here. I'm just going to keep it down. All right. I'll zoom in in editing. So a sunny meadow calls, and Rabbit Spirit appears to lead you out of your dark warren and into the light so that you can participate in a fertile and beautiful experience. It may seem safe below ground, but the magic happens when you come out and you take the risk of being vulnerable and co-creating something new. You are being invited into a new life that you have no experience with. But have no fear. Today is also a time to be fruitful and productive as you enjoy Rabbit Spirit's sunny and prolific energy. At this time, whatever you intend to bring to life will find fertile ground. There are no mistakes, really, when you are co-creating with Spirit. So let new ideas spring to surface, knowing that now is a lucky time of tremendous possibility. I just freaking love this as our final guidance message. They're like, recognize recognize that all this energy and effort that you're putting out, and this willing to be vulnerable, right? That's like another message that came through with the awakening crystal, is like, be willing to be vulnerable, be willing to be naked, as we say, like be willing to expose yourself, and, you know, be raw with yourself and honest with yourself and honest with anybody that is in your proximity that needs to hear it, right? And heal it, because now is the time for new commitments, new contracts of things you've never done before, and it's lucky time. You're being blessed. So this is a 13 or a 4, like angel guidance messages coming through. I just feel like so excited about all this. Also, on a side note, before I forget, I will be offering a discount on my 25-minute pre-recorded readings. I normally charge, I think, $65, and I will be charging $45 for them for this entire week. So the 13th to the 20th, $45 25-minute reading of anything you want. It could be just on yourself, your career, what you need to heal, or how to heal it, right? It could also be about your twin flame. Maybe you're like, this is me. Maybe this is coming from me. I feel like this is coming from me. So whatever kind of guidance you are looking for, know that I am more than happy to give you messages on that. And, you know, if you resonate with me and you feel like this spread really resonated with you, then that would be a good sign that I'm your reader, okay? So it's a lucky time. Let yourself heal. Let all the trauma go. Know that we're in a beautiful, I mean, this is one of the most beautiful transitions of like really diving deep into that darkness and pain and grief and coming out on the other side, okay? So trust and have faith. Know that this is destiny and you are blessed. I love you guys so much. Mwah.